All right, now this next part we're going to get into is not the time of action. So the time of action, we have past, present, and future. We're going to have the type of action. And the best way to explain this really is to draw it out for you guys. So we actually have three different aspects. We have the imperfective aspect, the perfective, and the aoristic, okay? And so in the Greek language, there's also something called aspect. There are three different aspects in the Greek language. The best way to describe the different aspects is through using these drawings, okay? So the very first one is called the imperfective aspect, okay? The action of the verb in this aspect is thought of as an ongoing process. The imperfective aspect can be thought of as a linear, continuous line. It focuses on the process or the duration of the action, okay? So if I write imperfective here, so if we can think of that, we're going to think of the imperfective aspect as just this, as a line like this, okay? So really, it doesn't really focus on a starting or an ending. It's just this linear duration, this continuous effect, okay? Does that make sense? Okay? So, John was hitting Paul's ball to Susan. So was hitting. There's this continuous aspect that's going on. Okay?
So is he still hitting it?
Yeah, it's an ongoing. So he's hitting it. It's just it communicates a linear duration. Okay? So instead of it being Paul or John hit, okay, as one single event, okay, he is hitting, okay. It's talking about the process, the duration, okay.
Okay, the was makes me think it's a past action.
Okay. John was hitting. Okay, it's difficult. I tried to follow the what I had outlined in the how they had outlined here by David Allen Black's book. But the biggest thing, I want you guys to think about is in the imperfective aspect is this continuous ongoing. Think of it linear, the duration of an activity. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay? So, think of the imperfective aspect as a straight linear line without a defined starting or ending point. Okay? So it's talking about the action that's going on. The process of hitting. Okay? Alright? The perfective aspect is the action of the verb, describes an action that was brought to completion but has effects carrying into the present. Okay? John has hit Paul's ball to Susan. Think of the perfective aspect as a dot/action that has ongoing effects carrying into the present time. Okay? So the perfective aspect, you can think of it as something that happened, something that was brought to completion, or an event that happened. So we draw a circle. Okay? So there's the event, okay? And the effects of that event, okay, go on into the present. Okay? Now, let me give you an example. When Jesus was on the cross, he said the word, "It is finished." Okay, now answer Carmen's question here from last week. Why is it in the passive voice? Okay? It. What is that it referring to? Okay? A lot of people have spilled a lot of ink over that. Well, what is the it referring to? Does it refer it being sin, death, the devil, God's wrath? I think it encompasses a lot of those. Okay? So let's just take, for instance, it. Let's just say it is referring to death. Death, then, has been what? Finished. Okay? Well, who finished death? Jesus. So it, being death, was acted upon. It was finished by someone else. That's why there's a passive. Okay? But Jesus says that in the perfective, okay, the perfect voice. So he says, "It is finished." Okay? But it's in the perfect voice. It has a perfective aspect to it. So what Jesus says, it's done, it's complete. But yet there's what? Ongoing effects of what is done and complete. So if you think about it, when Jesus is on the cross, he says, "It's done, it's complete." It's in this perfective aspect where the ongoing effects of what Jesus completed extend to what? The present time. Yeah. And continue on. Okay? Alright, does that make sense to you guys? Then we have the aoristic aspect. The heuristic aspect is the action of the verb is undefined. This means that the action of the verb is thought of as a simple event without commenting on whether or not it is a process. Okay? So John hit Paul's ball to Susan. Think of the heuristic aspect as a daughter action without knowing any other details. Okay? So the heuristic aspect, you can just think of it as a dot. We don't know if the event's continued. We don't know if it's a duration. We don't know. We just know it's an event that happened. It's undefined. Okay?